Choose you this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
It's Joshua Demers Productions with RV Camper Redneck Rigged Rapid Roof Replacement done in a day that adds an additional off-grid water collector. J and K are not going to be saying hey today.
All right, everybody. Remember Craig's old camper that's now mine and storage trailer and everything that I'm going to be making in the workshop as I get it sorted out and get his stuff back to him? Well, it's got a few drips and a wet ceiling, and I want to solve it real simple. I thought about building me a little wood frame up there, putting some plywood and some shingles, or maybe putting some metal that just bows over a center ridge. And then I realized, wait a minute, my landlord just got a whole bunch of this stuff from a building they tore down, and he offered some of it to me. And I think if I put this stuff up on there, it's got the little ridges on there. I don't even need to do anything but just buy a bunch of screws with washers if I don't have enough already from the last project to fill in all the holes. And I could probably just attach it right to the top of there, even leave a bit of an overhang on each side. But then when I got this thing set up here, I realized this thing's so long and wide, it might be better, instead of going this way, to go that way and just have a seam in the middle and use that putty tape and caulking for now, and just have a seam in the, the center that has to be sealed. But one sealed seam in it seems better than a whole bunch. You know what though? Anyway, this will be my first time going up on this roof and taking a look. Let's see what we got to work with. I'm kind of scared. Oh, it might be time to go get the blower out. Oh wow, somebody just put a piece of glass right there. That's the bathroom. All right, let's go get the blower out and see what this thing looks like. It won't really matter. Like I said, I'll probably take that off, and just pull the glass out to keep it from fixing. That's what the old rooftop AC was. Yeah, I think two of those side by side will be enough to go over this. And since I got plenty of it, maybe I'll do three, one in the center, two on the sides, again giving me a little overhang. I just need to make sure I attach it real good on the side so the wind doesn't come and pick it up off here. Let's go get the blower and get this cleaned up and see the before and afters. I ain't kidding when I say I got to be real careful where I step on this roof. I'm trying to sweep out the bulk of it and scrub out the corners before I hit it with a blower. Oh boy, oh boy. Tell you what, I'm taking that new cordless reciprocating saw I just bought. As soon as I get some blades for it, I'm cutting this stuff out of my way. But anyway, slowly but unsurely, I'm making my way across the roof, scrubbing and cleaning and trying to get all this stuff out of the way. Alrighty then, that is a clean roof. Now the problems I might have, again, I can take that off. I can probably just unbolt that and peel it off. That right there is going to be sticking up. I'm not planning on having a rooftop air conditioner, skylights, or even plumbing in this right away. So I can probably just cut those right off level and put the paneling over it, or See what happens if I try to hump it over. I don't know. Anyway, let's get that first piece on and see how far down the RV it goes and what it's going to look like adding more panels either on either side or one side. Well, I couldn't save the glass, but you know, honestly, it didn't matter. I knew it was tempered, but I got it all out of there without a bunch of shards and shatter everywhere and got it all in the trash. So now let's get that laid out. I think it looks like it's only going to go about halfway, which is just fine. Yeah, it looks like it's going to take 3 pieces side by side to do about half of this. So it's going to take a total of 6 sheets, but that gives it a little bit of an overhang on all the corner edges, I imagine. And it'll be real simple and convenient. I bet even just putting a few screws in this to keep the wind from blowing it, I bet right there just solved 80% of my problems up front just by diverting the water off to the sides and down hill. Ooh, these things are a nightmare to handle single-handedly, but so far so good. Oh ho ho, look at this. The top of the refrigerator just clips on, pops off, and that's how you get to the screws that are underneath the topper. Sweet. All right, I'm not kidding when I tell you that so far the easiest way to take this thing off has been to take the flat bar and a hammer and just tap, 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 and this stuff's just kind of breaking and peeling off, get around the screw heads, and then get me a little extension on there and get in there and pull them up, and it's doing 3 things. It's cleaning it off, it's saving it for later, and well, I guess it's doing 2 things. Keep me from having to, it's keeping me from having to peel it up. I'm able to just unscrew it. All right, I did it. That worked. Now I can totally clean this up and reuse it. Take it off without too much more effort. And I even got to save the screws for reuse. Let's get the blower out, clean this off, peel it up, put the last piece of paneling on this half of the roof, and see where we go from there. All right, that's what it looks like over here if you wanted to see it. Pulled out, and I bet nobody even knew that that top was removable and there was a screen that you could clean over the refrigerator topper. That was what it looked like going in there. Man, if that thing had a separate freezer, I'd definitely try to save it. But if it doesn't just plug in and work, I probably won't put too much into that thing. All right. Well, I could practically just screw that down, knock these 3 little things out here, keep on going, and figure this seam out a little later. With the way this is raised right here, it kind of makes a little bit of a deal there. Some of that might be from that joint right up there. I see a little bend right there. I might straighten it out. Yeah, when I bolt that down. We'll see. There, I found me a junk blade laying around, and it was a bit of a struggle, but boy did my new to me Sawzall come in handy. Sure glad I picked it up last night at the pawn shop for half price with battery included extra. Wow, what a performer. Not even the top of the line battery, and a terrible blade, and I swear this thing did 75% as good as a plug-in at tearing through that thing. I'm real happy with that thing for 40 bucks. Holy moly, I can't believe this. But this thing here has a metal roof underneath it. That's metal that's popping around and clinging while I'm walking around. Holy moly. Yeah, I don't know, I imagine there's wood underneath it. I guess we got some more to explore. Oh my, this thing here has an aluminum or stainless steel roof on it. How about that? I imagine there's wood underneath it. I don't know if there's any left, but I guess we got some more to explore. Here's how I'm doing so far. I got the front of it bolted up, and I'm ready to put some more paneling up underneath there and pull the skylight up, toss 3 more sheets on, and figure out what I'm gonna do about the edges. All right, I'll tell you what, when I start pricing these jobs, I'm gonna start pricing actually the tear down and clean up more than actually replacing things, because it takes a lot more work to take and clean all this stuff up than it does anything else. Anyway, I got every single one of the screws out, and fortunately this thing here's just starting to peel right on up, so I can get this off, get some more panels on here, get some screws on, and call it a day, unless I figure out what to do around the edges and get motivated to do it. All right, we ready to get a look and see what it looks like inside of here? What have we got? Ooh, we got some roaches, got some water. Yeah, pretty a rusty screen. Yeah, I'm pretty glad and what was that, a rag or something up in there? My goodness, I'm glad I decided to take this apart. And looking at this, I don't know, that doesn't look like it's got any kind of plywood or anything on it. It looks like it's just sheets of metal. Huh, interesting. Anyway, it's coming out of here. Next step. All right, there we go. Got the roof all cleaned up, ready to start putting the metal back on it and do the seam. All right, that's it. I got the roof panels all on. I got me some screws started down, working along down here and along this stud or ceiling joist over here, and just wherever I can do them. But I probably have to go into town to go get a box of them to finish this off, to call this a complete job. But anyway, I go right there in the center and I push down on that, and it bubbles over the little bit of raised area and catches it, or collapses back into itself, and makes a pretty good seam right there. So I don't think I've got much to worry about other than trying to keep this from getting caught up in the wind. But I had a little drill bit. There it is. That's a nice set of drill bits. I don't want to lose any of them. Anyway, what I was saying, you see now I got this overhang, which is real nice. It keeps the rain, keep the rain off this thing a little bit. I try to get it to stick out a little bit past the window, but I don't know if I really got that effect or not. I think I actually did on this back window. Anyway, I like it. Straighten those out, start putting the screws in, caulk it up, and walk away for a while. Okay, I'm down to the last step, which is cleaning that seam up and caulking it. There's a couple little spots like that right there that I need to touch up, and a few screws that didn't quite line up with the channel from the old screw holes that I reused, that I'll just touch up with some caulking just to make sure it's all cleared up. But I got screws all the way around the perimeter, double along the outside, all the way in here. Got this in here, another line of them here, which coincidentally I could use all the old screw holes along here, and had to make my own over here. But yeah, it's got at least a couple rows going across down the seam and all the way across around the edges. So even if it gets a little windy, this ought to stay good. And I'll tell you what, every one of these was able to go in and grab something and suck in for the most part. So I don't have to go through and caulk them or worry about them, you know, spinning out, falling out later. So I got real lucky. And the other thing I got lucky for was that bag of screws I bought a long time ago. I'd used on my old porch roof when I lived over on Grady Johnson a couple years ago over by Lewis Lunatic Landlord. Anyway, I took that porch down and all the metal flashing or metal roofing I took and kept all the screws and everything, and didn't even bother putting them all back together, but I put all the parts back in here, and not kidding when I say I'm almost out of them, but I had enough to do this entire thing. So like I said, I can caulk it and be done with up here for probably the whole year. One last thing as I finish up my roof, remember the job that was done on the corner of my RV that I repaired on one side and gonna do the last corner? Well, they did the same thing, except they used really tinny metal instead of solid metal, but I didn't notice this, but look at that, just splitting out there from the seams. But I got an overhang now, so it won't be as bad. Now I know I need to get to that right away though, because I'm gonna try to save this thing and keep it for a good storage camper, and maybe make a little workshop out of it. Woo-hoo. Very nice. Well, let's see how the camper is doing. Looking good so far. My goodness. Woo. There we go. That's what I was wanting to try to see. Right here. Yeah, buddy. Look at that. All right. Good thing I got a waterproof phone. Well, waterproof enough anyway. Oh good, that chair's getting washed.
If you're not in love with learning, you're not really living life. I might feel bad about putting a bunch of holes in that metal roof when all it would need is patching if it wasn't for the fact that the tongue is rotted off. Well, I've got a whole lot more projects going on, some playlists, and more to come. So stay tuned, like, share, and subscribe if you care to. And as always, J&K, we've got nothing else to say today.